A warm welcome for Ian. Ian?
Cool? Perfect. Thanks, my friend. All right, thanks, guys. So on behalf of a New Orleans native, corporate headquarters is in Baton Rouge. I wish you a happy Mardi Gras. Today is Fat Tuesday, and I would want nothing more than to stand up here and talk about digital out-of-home with you. But no, I appreciate it. Presentation yesterday was fantastic. So what we're going to talk about today is the importance of digital out-of-home in your omni-channel approach. We'll bust up some stigmas that people think what out-of-home truly is, and then we'll walk through a couple of case studies where programmatic digital out-of-home was used effectively. But I couldn't do that without starting at the very beginning. So real briefly, Lamar reached its 120th year this past year. So a 120-year-old company, started in Pensacola, Florida. You should Google it. It's a fantastic story. An opera house, a sign company. Opera house burned to the ground. Lamar's a $2.2 billion company now, so we always say we win. And we ironically have a billboard in the parking lot of Pensacola where the opera house burned to the ground as a stick to the face. So we do, I appreciate you liking that joke, but it is a true story. So over 120 years, one thing we do talk internally about is innovating since 1902, whether it's the very beginnings when we were copywriting, which I appreciate your story, to the evolution of hand paint, to the evolution of Lamar launching the first roadside digital billboard over 20 years ago this past year. So we're constantly innovating. Lamar has over 325,000 screens across the US and Canada, top 10 DMA all the way down to DMA 210. With our digital network, 4,300 screens that reach over 5 billion weekly impressions. What we do love is the product itself. So digital out-of-home has evolved, and it's lent ourselves to be able to ingest data, but most importantly in the conversation today, has allowed us to truly be a part of the programmatic journey. And we know that's important because you can't just buy a sign. You can't just buy a billboard, and anyone that comes and visits you, brands that are here today and says, only buy digital out-of-home, is a salesperson, and you should be skeptical of them immediately. It's all about the journey, whether it's Lamar's urban panels, whether it's our airport network and roadside digital, but most importantly, it's about all of our friends. So shout out to our friends, Andrew and Kathy at Clear Channel, Nolan at Grocery TV, and so many more. It's beyond just billboards. It's about the entire ecosystem that you, the brands, are buying, you, the agencies, are buying. It's mobile, it's CTV, it's online, it's social, but out-of-home has a massive place in this. And I appreciate Albert's conversation yesterday about how do I reach that consumer whenever they're no longer in the home and it's turned off. So programmatic, Lamar launched with Vistar, our good friends, over 10 years ago. And we've kind of evolved ever since. And what that's allowed us to do is truly talk about the consumer journey. So all of us, Lucy did a great job yesterday talking about that journey and how everyone's journey every day is completely different. But data and programmatic has allowed us to now follow that consumer anonymously throughout its journey. And whether they wake up and look at TikTok, whether they wake up and look at a news app, their journey begins at that point, most likely with the mobile device. But at each touch point along that journey, there is going to be a digital screen, whether it's large format, whether it's a place-based screen. And we feel that you can't have these stop gaps where it's you're hitting that consumer on the mobile device and they're throughout their journey, and then you hit them again online, and then you hit them again later with social. There's a massive journey that you're missing through that process. So I'll walk you through just a real brief, whether it's AT&T launching their fiber this past year, and they start off with retail, which again, sometimes it doesn't have to begin on the device. Sometimes it could begin in the ecosystem. So here, maybe it's a grocery TV screen, and then it's a large format digital out-of-home. And then through anonymous device ID passbacks, we pass those back over to you through third parties. You can then begin that journey on the mobile device. So we know that out-of-home may be the starter, or it may be the end of that journey, but we also know that there's a last click, whether it's on the mobile device or a last look before you walk into that dealership, before you go online and purchase that specific product. We're also very aware that we're not a one-to-one medium, but we have evolved with data, whether it's our base level with Geopath, but also our plethora of data partners, where we become one-to-targeted, where you say, hey, I want to reach that surfer who is a workout enthusiast and is a health enthusiast, and I want to hit that consumer throughout the day. Drop that into maybe our friends at Vistar, and you drop that data set in, and then it shows you what that journey looks like. It shows you the importance of those screens. The one thing that we're very bullish about, roadside digital billboard, is the sheer size. UMPC has utilized digital out-of-home forever. This is a massive hospital network in the state of PA, but why they transitioned over to programmatic was the ability to take that omni-channel approach, but more importantly, the amount of anonymous device IDs or MAIDs that they're able to capture allows them to retarget that consumer throughout whatever journey that they want to take. They may be targeting consumers that have kids that are in sports, and that may be one segment of an audience, but also it may be an elderly parent that you're taking care of. So digital out-of-home allows you to then take those device IDs and then create an even different campaign beyond just that digital screen, as you can see here. Statistics. I'm never a fan of statistics, but I'm told that they're great presentation materials. But this was a great one. This is research recently done. Noticing ads. You know, we talked about it yesterday to nauseam. Tomorrow, most importantly, on the creative side of things, we're going to talk about this. Noticing ads in out-of-home, it's the most beautiful experience. I loved nothing more than yesterday I heard a few times no one got jacked up about seeing a banner ad. Like seriously, raise your hand real fast if you're like, screenshot that banner ad because that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Tag it. Good for you, Jeff. You're lying and you're helping your clients, but I appreciate it. I'm going to follow your Twitter account and see if that's true. But again, 90% of Americans see out-of-home ads. And again, you could be a bit tongue-in-cheek here, like, sure, Ian, you can't drive with your eyes closed. But realistically, 81% of who notice ads notice the message. And I'm sorry, again, you like set yourself up for this, Jeff. But again, the banner of what is out-of-home, 1,400 by 48 feet of, and this is literally my favorite campaign, Let's Texas, because they incorporated the mobile device that I'm making fun of at the bottom. But the mobile device was imperative, but that out-of-home creative really captured the attention. So based on whatever cities you were in, the time of day, that creative really captured you, and then they retargeted you on your mobile device to then make you go to their website, which was a beautiful experience. But we know there has to be a conduit from out-of-home to the mobile device, maybe straight to the laptop. So we understand the importance, but I do like to take a little dig at mobile from time to time. But also noticing ads with relevant content. As an industry, we continue to evolve. I think it's imperative. We get that from coming to conferences like this. We get this from brands demanding. And here, Fox Sports, which is now Bally Sports in the Atlanta Braves, now has the ability where first pitch happens in the MLB, where immediately all of their screens trigger to dynamic live scores in real time. And based on the outcome of that campaign, or that game itself, will then trigger maybe another game, another pitcher, et cetera. Or our friends at Cox, and sorry for my Comcast friend that I met, but maybe takeaway here. Fox Sports Oklahoma with Cox, they've been doing this for well over 12 years now. So the Oklahoma City Thunder, immediately when tip-off happens, it switches over to live scores. And again, this is not some human typing. This is an API direct feed into, in this case, the NBA, and we're able to dynamically put scores in. I do love this stat because I'm a tech person, but at heart I love creative. So 45% of consumers say they're likely to notice colorful and vibrant ads. Now that may seem a bit childish with crayons and whatever it may be, but 85% of those consumers notice ads, find them useful, and most importantly, 45% have a greater interest in out-of-home that includes timely information. And what does that look like? And this is, look, we get excited about basic things in out-of-home, but we also realize that it's massive data. So one of the biggest things I heard yesterday was creative. Creative specs, creative size, we need standardization of that. I agree 100%, and you'll hear more about it tomorrow, how we have evolved to that. But most importantly here, this is a New Balance campaign that we ran through Vistar with our friends at the agency, and to the right, they're branding the New Balance brand, 75 different stores that they were looking to target. So in old school out-of-home, hey, we need 75 pieces of creative, we're gonna schedule that creative, there's someone that is taking the proximity, 5 miles, 7 miles within each store, making sure they're scheduling the right content. That's over. what we do with programmatic digital out of home is it's now geo-targeted. So it's one piece of creative, it's templated, and dynamically on the right, that creative is changing based on the real-time bid, based on the proximity, and it's geo-targeted. So it's one piece of creative that's playing for 75 different stores that are targeted. Oh, and by the way, if that shoe sells out, it can dynamically change content to a different shoe. Same is true here, but for Jack in the Box, obviously the template's to the right, but to the left, it dynamically changes based on the menu. So breakfast, lunch, dinner. I know Jack in the Box is a bit wacky because you can order it all day. But again, relevant, timely, and informative is what drives out of home. And then again, utilizing, I love when we have great app companies that come in, but upside, it's the opposite here. The actual creative feed here is dynamically tapping into Yelp, and that content's changing, and it's telling you what the cash back is. It's also telling you proximity and what's relevant and what stores or restaurants that are participating in. Weather. Nothing affects the psychographics of a consumer more than when you walk outside. I know yesterday on our hike, shout out to Kathy for guiding us, but it was really, really hot, and then it was really, really cold on the backside. Why not utilize that same data? So here, Sea-Doo, when it's above 90 degrees, clear skies, and warm out, this is the content that plays. Keep it cool on a Sea-Doo. Even the slightest bit of change, cloudy, a couple of clouds, don't let it stop you. This is dynamically changing in real time. And also, Sea-Doo could have said, hey, I only want to play whenever it's sunny out, or the temperature's above 90. Or if it's a product like rain boots and says, hey, I only want to play, bid and buy in real time programmatically, only want to play whenever it's raining out to trigger my rain boot ads. So real quick, shutting down the stigmas of out of home. I know a lot of you, if you thought of out of home in the very beginning, it was like, oh yeah, I know who you are. You know, it's 200 miles, it's Buc-ee's, exit here, little clever catching. If you're a Texas person, you get that. But we're shutting down that stigma. Digital out of home can be targeted, it can be personalized, and it can be measured. One of my favorite brands, Gooder. If you don't have a pair of these glasses, shame on you, they're 25 bucks. So why I show you this is, this has been an evolution, which I love how out of home is used as a test and then learn. So Gooder this past year launched a massive programmatic campaign. They ingested their first party data into the SSP's platform, and then they dynamically triggered active lifestyle consumers. The brand and the creative was very specific and generic across the entire market. We did the device ID passbacks, we did the mobile retargeting. Campaign ran fantastic. We did a brand lift study where they saw an 11% lift in awareness. They saw an 18% lift in consideration and a 23% lift in purchase intent. Fantastic. Brand is happy. They come back this year and we pitch them and we say, hey, this is more of an awareness plan. This is more than just a brand study. And I'm not knocking brand studies, but when you prove out that out of home is efficient and works, then let's jump to the next stage of the campaign, which I heard at quite a few presentations yesterday, which was exciting. So now, this year, this campaign launches in 2 months. Again, utilizing programmatic, they're utilizing their active lifestyles, but there's 4 different pillars of their brands, whether that's the runner, whether that's their baseball, whether it's their snow goggles, or their high-intensity goggles that they use. But most importantly, we came back and we said, hey, look, the brand lift study came back and said a few things, but your creative wasn't relevant to the market. So here, as you can see in the background, that's Nissan Stadium, the NFL stadium where the Titans play. 25 glasses for a little honky-tonkin'. Relevant to Nashville. The glasses are a bit different. Here, sweat-proof, waterproof, Jazz Fest proof. Okay, great creative, Ian. They're hyper-local. But where we took them to the next level is they said, okay, because we have different creative and we have different content in each market, we want to see how does that digital out of home drive clicks. So through device ID passbacks and through them providing a pixel, we were now in this campaign are able to measure and say, okay, in Nashville, how many of those glasses were sold and an uptick? How many of those consumers went to that site and purchased? So that's back-end data that they're able to measure. And hopefully next year at this conference, we'll be able to kind of share those findings as well. Last case study, Nestle Coffee Partners. So again, Starbucks, launched this new capsule for Nespresso at Target. And they utilize first-party data, third-party data, where they said, okay, I want to target coffee enthusiasts, and then Target then piped in their first-party data for consumers that purchase coffee. Again, very protected data, very first-party data. Again, going through our supply-side partners on the programmatic side of things, dynamically bidding in real time, we then said, okay, what does that look like from a brand lift store visitation? So 25.5 million total impressions were served. They had a 42% lift in store visitation of those who were exposed to out-of-home and 79% more likely to visit. Again, the evolution of that campaign, we went back and we were able to show those findings. Budgets come up. They maybe take some of that percentage from mobile or online or social and tweak it over in the out-of-home space. Last set of research, 65% of viewers take action after seeing a digital out-of-home ad. This is the summary and the wrap-up. Again, you shouldn't just buy out-of-home. You shouldn't just buy mobile, and I think everyone in this room agrees with that, right? But the importance is those campaigns that you're utilizing in out-of-home needs to look and feel the exact same, because if we take our marketers' hats off, if we take our agency hats off, our brand hats off, we as consumers, we don't really give a shit where that ad's served or what that screen looks like, whether it's the mobile device, large format billboard, or you're at the gym running. It's how do you make that creative, relevant, and seamless throughout that journey. So top actions include in that 65% are search online, visit a business, or searching and posting on social. So again, making sure that that holistic campaign looks the same and feels the same, and you're using that data. Whether it starts in mobile, social, online, CTV, or it starts in out-of-home, there's enough data, there's enough programmatic platforms, SSPs and DSPs connections that allow you to build and buy in real time in this seamless approach. Shameless plug, because you have to have a shameless plug before you get off a stage. During the pandemic, we launched this fantastic podcast where we have amazing guests and we talk about everything. Thank you. Both clapping because they've been guests on the podcast. But yeah, great. Appreciate it. Yeah, so we have a lot of folks that come on the platform. They talk about what they're passionate about, and it's not just out of home. It's about Lamar and out of home and technology, creativity, and the future of what we do. So in closing, greatly appreciate everything that all of you do. I think we're at the infancy of where digital out of home fits in this omni-channel approach. We're at the infancy of us learning. And I know a handful of us took copious notes yesterday, and we hear you loud and clear on the 3-year prediction. I think we can do it much shorter. I think there's a lot of them that you may not even realize today. So I think we also take back, we need to do a better job of educating. So thank you all.